The Mexican cartel stopped the town water truck. They didn't know who the old driver was. It's 6:43 a.m. on Tuesday, October 17, 2023, when four Sinaloa cartel sicarios block State Highway 104 at mile marker 37, right at Pine Curve, 5 miles from the town of Santo Isidro, rural West Texas. A weathered green water tank truck with a 2,500-gallon capacity brakes hard, kicking up dust from the cracked asphalt. The four men armed with AR-15s surround the vehicle. The leader, a 32-year-old man with a scorpion tattoo on his neck known as the Scorpion, bangs on the driver's door with the rifle butt. Inside the cab, a 68-year-old man with completely white hair, a faded denim shirt, and hands calloused by decades of work, calmly turns off the engine. His name is Mac Flowers. To the 847 residents of Santo Isidro, Mr. Mac is simply the water man, the person who for 22 years brought potable water to the town 3 times a week. What these four cartel soldiers don't know is that the old driver about to step down from that truck eliminated 89 targets between 1985 and 2001 as an elite operator for the United States Army. What's about to happen in the next 47 minutes will forever change the fate of Santo Isidro. Mac had arrived in Santo Isidro in January 2002. He came with no past, no family, just a small suitcase and enough money to buy the old water truck that Mr. Epifanio was selling. The town needed water. The nearest spring was 9 miles away. Mac offered to do the work. Nobody asked where he came from. For 22 years, Mac built a perfect routine. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday he left at 5:30 a.m., filled the tank at Santa Clara Springs, returned via State Highway 104, arrived in Santo Isidro at 8 a.m., distributed water house to house charging $50 per 55-gallon drum. At 3 p.m. he finished, went to his house, a modest 2-room construction on the edge of town, ate dinner alone, slept early, repeated the cycle. The neighbors knew him as a quiet but kind man. He helped at town celebrations carrying chairs, donated water for free to Mrs. Remedios when her Social Security check didn't stretch, never missed Sunday Mass, never talked about his past, never mentioned family. He lived as many older men lived in forgotten towns in rural Texas, but there were details nobody noticed. The way Mac observed every unfamiliar vehicle entering town, how his eyes constantly scanned the surroundings. The fact that in 22 years he'd never left Santo Isidro except for his water route, as if he were hiding, as if he were waiting. That morning of October 17th, Mac had left as always at 5:30. The air smelled of wet earth. He filled the tank in 40 minutes. The water gushed crystalline from the spring. Mac closed the valves, checked the pressure, started the engine, got on the highway back. Everything normal. Everything like the last 22 years. Until mile marker 37, until he saw the black Dodge Ram blocking both lanes, until he saw the 4 armed men. Mac immediately knew who they were. The Scorpion bangs on the truck door harder. "Get down, old man. Now!" Mac opens the door slowly, descends with the careful movements of a 68-year-old man with creaking knees, uses a wooden walking cane for support. The 4 cartel soldiers surround him. The Scorpion approaches. He reeks of cheap beer and strong cologne. "Where you going with all that water, viejo?" "To Santo Isidro. It's my job. I bring water to the town." The Scorpion smiles. "Not anymore. Now this business has a new owner. We control the water. You're gonna work for us or you're gonna stop working permanently." Mac looks at them one by one. 4 men, 4 weapons. The Scorpion is the leader. The other 3 are foot soldiers. One nervous, probably first job, another experienced, finger always near the trigger, the third bored. "I can't work for you," Mac says in a calm voice. "This town depends on the water. The people are poor. They can't pay more than what I charge." The Scorpion laughs. "I don't care if they can pay or not. Starting today, the price is $200 per drum, and you give us 70% of what you collect." "I'm not doing that," Mac says. "The town needs water at a fair price." The nervous soldier raises his weapon. "Boss, you want me to take care of him?" The Scorpion makes a waiting gesture. He studies Mac with narrowed eyes. Something doesn't fit. Most civilians tremble when you point rifles at them. This old man just stands there like the soldiers are a minor inconvenience. How old are you, viejo? 68. And you think at 68 you can defy the Sinaloa cartel? I'm not defying anyone. I'm just saying I won't charge more from the people of Santo Isidro. They're good people. They don't deserve this. The Scorpion draws his Glock 19, presses it against Mac's forehead. The metal is cold. The other 3 soldiers tense up. Last chance, old man. Work for us or we leave you here for the buzzards. Mac closes his eyes. He sees images from 22 years ago. Bodies falling, blood on his hands, the code name that haunted him for 16 years. Lightning, the most effective operator in the Special Operations Tactical Command. The man who entered trap houses alone and came out with targets eliminated. The soldier who never failed a mission. Mac opens his eyes. He's no longer the waterman from Santo Isidro. He's someone else. If you're going to kill me, he says in a different voice, firmer, do it quick, but know you're making a mistake. What mistake? Asked the Scorpion. The mistake of thinking I'm just an old driver. The Scorpion frowns, lowers the pistol slightly. Who are you? Mac smiles for the first time. It's a cold smile, without humor. My name isn't Mac Flowers. That name I adopted 22 years ago when I retired. My real name is Captain Abel Warrior, Army Special Forces Command, 1985 to 2001. 89 targets eliminated, 0 failed missions. They knew me as Lightning. The silence that follows is absolute. The 4 soldiers look at each other. The nervous one lowers his weapon. The experienced one takes a step back. The bored one no longer yawns. You're lying, says the Scorpion. Lightning is a myth. Not a myth. Ask your boss. Ask about the operator who eliminated 3 Gulf Cartel leaders in one night in San Antonio in 1997. Ask about Lightning. The experienced one speaks. Boss, my uncle worked with the Gulf back in the 90s. He told me about Lightning, said he was real, that he'd killed more narcos than any other soldier. Mac nods. I disappeared because I retired. The government gave me a new identity. I chose this town. I chose a quiet life. But you just ruined that quiet. The Scorpion recovers his composure. Even if you were Lightning, that was over 20 years ago. Now you're an old man. We're 4. We're armed. You have a cane. Mac smiles again. You're right. I'm 68 years old. But muscle memory doesn't disappear, and you made 3 mistakes. What mistakes? First, you blocked the highway at a point without complete visual coverage. Second, you left your vehicle with the doors open, which means tactical vulnerability. Third, none of you checked if I was armed. The 4 soldiers tense up. The Scorpion looks around. You armed? Mac looks at his watch. It's 6:51. In 3 minutes, the school bus carrying children from Santo Isidro to the county school will pass. If these soldiers keep blocking the highway, those children will see things no child should see. Move. Let my truck through. Forget Santo Isidro. The Scorpion moves closer, presses the barrel against Mac's chest. And if not? At that moment in the distance, the school bus engine is heard. The yellow vehicle appears around the curve 800 meters away. Inside are 23 children between 12 and 15 years old. Mac knows all of them. The bus approaches. The Scorpion sees it and smiles. Perfect, we're going to send a message to the town. He gestures to his men. Stop that bus. We're going to get all the children off. We're going to execute the old man in front of them. And at that moment, Mac Flowers makes a decision. The same decision he swore never to make again. When 23 innocent children are about to witness an execution. When the only way to protect what he loves is to become who he was. Mac drops the cane. It falls on the pavement. His hands no longer tremble. His back is no longer bent. He stands upright. Last warning. Get in the truck. Leave. Or this ends with blood. The Scorpion points his pistol directly at Mac's head. The bus is 400 meters away. And then Mac moves. Mac moves with speed that contradicts his 68 years. His right hand grabs the scorpion's wrist, twisting the arm at an impossible angle. A snap is heard. The scorpion screams. The Glock 19 falls on the pavement. Mac kicks it away. Everything happens in 2 seconds. The other 3 soldiers react late. The nervous one fires his AR-15, but the barrel points high. The bullets whistle over Mac's head. The experienced one tries to aim, but Mac has already used the scorpion as a human shield. The bored one runs to the truck. Mac pushes the scorpion against the nervous soldier. Both fall. The experienced one fires. Mac throws himself to the ground. Rolls. Gets up behind the water truck. The bullets hit the green metal of the tank. Water begins pouring out through the bullet holes. The school bus is 300 meters away. The driver sees the gunfight. Brakes hard. The children scream inside. Mac calculates. 3 soldiers still armed. 1 injured. He has no weapons, only experience. 16 years of training. 89 completed missions. Muscle memory that never dies. The experienced one comes around the truck on the left. Mac waits for him. When he appears, Mac knocks the AR-15 barrel upward. Shot in the air. Knee to the stomach. Elbow to the face. The soldier falls unconscious. Mac takes the AR-15. Now he's armed. The nervous one and the scorpion get up. They fire from behind the ram. Mac takes cover behind the water truck. He counts the bullets by sound. 6 shots, 7, 8. The nervous one has a 30-round magazine, 22 left. The bored one started the truck. He accelerates toward Mac. He's going to ram the water truck. Mac leaves his cover, aims, fires twice. First bullet breaks the windshield. Second bullet hits the driver's shoulder. The truck swerves, crashes into a mesquite tree. The engine smokes. 2 soldiers neutralized. 2 remain. The school bus is 200 meters away. Stops completely. The driver grabs his cell phone. Calls the Santo Isidro Marshal's office. Chief Heriberto Chavez answers. Listens. Runs out of the station with his 3 deputies. They get in the only patrol car that works. Takes off toward Highway 104. The scorpion and the nervous one keep firing. Mac counts. The nervous one spent his magazine. He's reloading. 3-second window. Mac comes out. Runs to the left. Fires while running. 4 bullets. The nervous one falls with impact to the leg. Screams. Drops his weapon. Only the scorpion remains. Silence. Mac breathes controlled. He's behind a large boulder 15 meters from the truck. The scorpion is behind the crashed vehicle. Neither has a shooting angle. You're a dead man, viejo, the scorpion shouts. The cartel's coming after you. They're gonna burn your town. Mac doesn't respond. He listens. The scorpion is moving. His boots crunch on broken glass. He's moving right, looking for an angle. Mac looks at the bus. The children are scared but alive. That's what matters. He looks at his water truck. Water continues pouring out through the bullet holes. 2,500 gallons wasted. Santo Isidro needs that water. The families need that water. All this violence. All this fear. Over water. Mac thinks about the last 22 years. Every morning filling the tank. Every afternoon distributing water house to house. Mrs. Jacinta Martinez always offered him coffee. Mr. Rutilio Vega paid him with fresh eggs when he didn't have money. The children greeted him when he passed. A simple life. An honest life. A life he'd built to forget who he was. But you can't escape the past. The past always catches up. He hears sirens in the distance. The Santo Isidro patrol car is coming. 5 minutes, maybe. The scorpion hears them too. He's getting desperate. Makes a sudden movement. Leaves his cover. Fires a full burst toward Mac's boulder. Mac counts. 15 shots. 16. 17. The scorpion's magazine empties. Click, click, click. Mac stands up. Walks toward the scorpion with the AR-15 aimed. The scorpion drops his empty weapon. Raises his hands. Don't kill me, please. I have family. Mac stops 3 meters away. Looks at him. The scorpion is 32 years old. Tattoos on his neck. Scars on his hands. Eyes that have seen and done terrible things. But also eyes of fear. Of pleading. You have family? Mac asks. 2 kids, girls 8, boys 5. My wife is pregnant. And you come threaten the town where I live? Extort people who can barely survive? The scorpion lowers his gaze. I just follow orders. If I don't, they kill me. We all follow orders. I followed orders for 16 years. Killed 89 people following orders. People who also had families. People who also begged. You know how many of them I remember? All of them. Every face. Every name. Every plea. Mac lowers the weapon. I'm not going to kill you, but you're going to deliver a message to your boss. The scorpion nods desperately. Whatever you want. Santo Isidro is off limits. The water from this town is sacred. Whoever touches it, whoever tries to control it, whoever threatens these people, will find me. And I'm not an old waterman. I'm lightning. And lightning never fails. The sirens arrive. The Santo Isidro patrol car brakes behind the school bus. Chief Heriberto and his 3 deputies get out with pistols. They see the scene. 4 soldiers on the ground. Mac standing with the AR-15. Water pouring from the truck. Mr. Mac, Heriberto shouts. What happened? Mac lowers the weapon completely. Sets it on the ground. Raises his hands. They came to extort the town. Tried to stop the school bus. I had no choice. Heriberto looks at the 4 soldiers, 3 wounded, 1 unconscious. Looks at Mac, a 68-year-old man who for 22 years only hauled water. Heriberto knows Mac, considers him a friend, but this doesn't make sense. You did all this? Mac nods. I stopped them. How? Heriberto notices for the first time that Mac moves differently, stands differently, speaks differently. This isn't the quiet waterman he knows. Because before I was a waterman, I was a soldier. Heriberto handcuffs the 4 soldiers, calls for backup from the Texas Department of Public Safety. The school bus turns around and returns to Santo Isidro. The children are scared but unharmed. The driver tells them not to leave their houses, that something serious happened. In Santo Isidro, news travels fast. By 7:30 a.m., the whole town knows. Mr. Mac stopped 4 cartel soldiers. Mr. Mac protected the school bus. Mr. Mac isn't who he said he was. Mrs. Jacinta Martinez closes her diner, goes out to the street. She sees her neighbors coming out too. Everyone walks toward the highway. They want to know what happened. They want to know if Mr. Mac is okay. They want to know the truth, because in 22 years Mr. Mac never lied to them. But he also didn't tell them who he really was. The state troopers arrive, 2 patrol cars, 6 officers. They take away the 4 soldiers. One of the officers, a 45-year-old commander named Leopold Marquez, approaches Mac. Sir, I need your statement. Mac nods. He's tired. His knees hurt. His back aches. The 68 years weigh heavy, but his mind is clear. I'll tell you everything, but first I need to fix my truck. Santo Isidro needs water. Leopold looks at the water truck, the bullet holes, the water wasted on the pavement. He looks at Mac, sees an old man in a denim shirt stained with dust. Hard to believe this man stopped 4 armed soldiers. You military? I was. A long time ago. What rank? Captain. Special Forces. Leopold whistles low. That explains a lot. You're gonna need to come to the San Antonio office. Formal statement. Legal process. Mac shakes his head. I can't go to San Antonio. I have to bring water to Santo Isidro. Sir, this is a federal case. Sinaloa cartel, high-caliber weapons. There could be reprisals. That's exactly why I can't leave town. If I leave, the cartel comes back. Attacks the people. I stay, I protect. Leopold understands. Makes a call to his superior. Explains the situation. The superior authorizes Mac to remain in Santo Isidro under police surveillance. We're going to install a permanent checkpoint at the town entrance, 2 officers in 12-hour shifts. Mac accepts. While they talk, people from Santo Isidro arrive. They walk down the highway. 50 people, 80, 120. They come to see. They come to know. Mrs. Jacinta Martinez arrives first. She sees Mac, runs to him, hugs him. Mr. Mack, thank God you're okay. We thought they'd killed you. I'm fine, Mrs. Jacinta. Is it true? Is it true you were a soldier? Mack looks at all the people gathered. Familiar faces. 22 years of familiar faces. Mr. Rutilio Vega with his cane. Teacher Esperanza. Fabio the welder. Everyone looking at him waiting for an answer. Yes, I was a soldier. Captain in the United States Army. I retired 22 years ago. I came here to start over. I didn't want you to know because I wanted a normal life. A peaceful life. Mr. Rutilio Vega approaches. You saved us. Saved the children. Saved the town. I just did what I had to do. And now? Asks Teacher Esperanza. Is the cartel coming back? Mack looks at the crashed truck. At the pavement stained with blood. At his water truck dripping water. Probably. That's why I need your help. The people of Santo Isidro gather in the plaza in front of the church. It's 9 a.m. 200 people fill the space. Mack stands in front of everyone. Dirty. Tired. But firm. You need to understand the situation. The Sinaloa cartel doesn't forgive. They'll come after me. They'll come after the town. You have two options. First, turn me in. I leave. You stay in peace. Second, I stay. We fight together. We defend Santo Isidro. Mr. Rutilio Vega strikes the ground with his cane. You've given us water for 22 years. Never charged too much. Helped everyone. We are not turning you in. The people applaud. Mack raises his hand asking for silence. If I stay, this gets dangerous. The cartel will attack. We need to prepare. We need military organization. What do you need? Asks Fabio the welder. First, surveillance. 24-hour shifts. 4 points at the town entrances. Second, communication. Radios. Alert system. Third, shelter. Identify safe houses for women and children if there's an attack. Teacher Esperanza raises her hand. I can organize the women. The school has a basement. We can use it as a shelter. Fabio speaks. I have welding equipment. I can reinforce doors, make barriers. Chief Heriberto approaches. Mr. Mack, my 3 deputies and I are with you. We know the town. We can coordinate surveillance. Mack nods. We need more. I need to talk to people with experience, ex-military, ex-cops, anyone who knows how to use weapons. 5 men raise their hands. One is Onesimo Vargas, 52 years old, ex-soldier. Another is Eliezer Campos, 48 years old, former FBI agent. The other 3 worked in private security. Mack gathers them aside. You 5 will be my core team. We're going to train 15 others, total 20 armed men. The rest watch and alert. Onesimo asks. How much time do we have? The cartel moves fast. 48 hours maximum. Maybe less. The next 12 hours, Santo Isidro transforms. Fabio and 6 men install metal barriers at the 4 entrances. Heriberto organizes surveillance shifts with radios borrowed from state troopers. Teacher Esperanza prepares the school basement with water, food, lanterns. Mack trains the 20 men. He teaches shooting positions, cover, communication under fire, tactical movement. Some have hunting rifles, others old shotguns. They're not military weapons, but they'll do. At 10 p.m., Mack reviews the perimeter. The 4 surveillance points are active. The barriers installed. The families alerted. Santo Isidro is ready. Mack returns to his house, sits on the edge of his bed, looks at his hands. Hands of a 68-year-old. Hands that killed 89 people. Hands that for 22 years only hauled water. He takes a box from under his bed. Inside are old photographs. A young woman. Beautiful smile. His wife Guadalupe. She died in 1999 from cancer. They never had children. When she died, Mack lost his reason to live. That's why he accepted suicide missions. That's why he eliminated 89 targets without caring if he died. But he didn't die. He survived. And in 2001, the Army offered him retirement, new identity, new life. Mack accepted because he had nothing left to fight for, until now. Until Santo Isidro. Until these people who for 22 years treated him like family. He puts away the photographs, lies down, sleeps 4 hours. At 3 a.m., his radio crackles. Onesimo's voice from the north surveillance point. Commander, movement, 3 vehicles, lights off, distance 2 miles. They're approaching slowly. Mac gets up, grabs his AR-15, activates the general radio. Red alert, everyone to positions, women and children to the shelter, now. Santo Isidro wakes up, lights go out, families run to the school. The 20 armed men take positions. Heriberto and his deputies deploy. Mac arrives at the north point, lies down next to Onesimo behind sandbags that Fabio installed. He grabs binoculars. The 3 vehicles advance. Black Chevy Suburbans, tinted windows, plates covered. They stop 500 meters from the north barrier. The doors open. 12 men get out, all armed with AR-15s and AK-47s. Onesimo swallows hard. That's a lot. Mac counts. 12 soldiers, 3 vehicles, military formation. They're not amateurs. The cartel sent professionals. One of the soldiers walks forward, carries a megaphone. His voice echoes in the night. People of Santo Isidro, hand over the old man. You have 5 minutes. If you don't hand him over, we burn the town. Silence. Nobody responds. The soldier waits. Looks at his watch. 4 minutes. Mac speaks into the radio. Nobody fires until my order. Let them get close. The 12 soldiers advance. They reach the barrier, start moving it. It's just welded metal, won't stop them long. 3 minutes. Heriberto whispers to Mac. Mr. Mac, there's too many. We can't beat them. We don't need to win. We just need to hold until reinforcements arrive. What reinforcements? Mac smiles. I called an old friend. Should be arriving. The soldiers finish moving the barrier. Enter Santo Isidro. Walk down the main street. Weapons raised. The leader shouts, "Last chance, hand over the old man or we start burning houses." From a window, Mrs. Jacinta Martinez shouts, "He's not here, he left this afternoon." "Liar, we saw him come in. Everyone out, hands up." The doors stay closed. Nobody comes out. The leader signals. 2 soldiers throw Molotov cocktails at a house. Flames rise. The fire lights up the street. Mac presses the radio. Not yet. The soldiers advance, reach the center, the plaza. They're 50 meters from where Mac and his men wait hidden in elevated positions. The leader shouts again, "This is your last warning." And then helicopters are heard. 2. Powerful lights illuminate Santo Isidro from above. Amplified voice. "United States Army, drop your weapons. You're surrounded." The 12 soldiers look up. Confusion. Fear. The leader shouts, "It's a trap. Fire." They start firing at the helicopters. The bullets ricochet uselessly. The helicopters don't descend. They maintain distance. And from the rooftops, from the windows, from the hidden positions, Mac's 20 men open fire. Not to kill, to pin position. The soldiers seek cover, scatter. Some run to the Suburbans. Others hide behind buildings. The helicopters land on the outskirts. 30 soldiers descend, Special Forces uniforms. They surround Santo Isidro. Advance in formation. The leader of the cartel soldiers understands they're trapped. He shouts to his men, "Retreat, everyone to the vehicles." But it's too late. The military blocks the exits. The 12 soldiers are trapped. They surrender. Drop their weapons. Kneel. The commander of the soldiers descends from a helicopter. Colonel Zacharias Medina, 55 years old. He walks toward Mac. "Captain Warrior, it's been 22 years. Mac gives a military salute. "Colonel Medina, thank you for coming. When you called, I thought you were crazy. But I see the situation required it." The soldiers handcuff the 12 cartel members, load them into military trucks, put out the fire in the house, check the town. Colonel Medina looks around. "You organized the defense well. Trained civilians like the old days. I had no choice." "There's always a choice, Abel. You could have left. You chose to stay. These people gave me a home for 22 years. I wasn't going to abandon them." The colonel nods. The cartel won't stop, they'll send more. I know. What are you gonna do? Mac looks at the 200 residents coming out of the school. He sees Mrs. Jacinta Martinez hugging her grandchildren. He sees Mr. Rutilio Vega crying with relief. He sees Teacher Esperanza organizing water for the soldiers. I stay. I train them. I prepare them. I turn Santo Isidro into a place where the cartel doesn't want to enter. Colonel Medina stays in Santo Isidro 3 days. Brings 20 soldiers. They install a temporary command post. Train the town's men. Teach defensive tactics, sniper positions, use of military radios. On the 3rd day, the colonel calls Mac to his temporary office in the town hall. I have news. The cartel put a price on your head. $2 million, dead or alive. Mac isn't surprised. That was inevitable. There's more. The Scorpion, the soldier you let go, talked. Told everything, your real identity, your history, the 89 missions. The cartel knows you're lightning. So what? This isn't local extortion anymore, now it's personal. The cartel wants to eliminate you because you represent a threat. An elite ex-operator defending towns. If they allow it, other towns will resist too. Mac understands the implication. I'm not just me, I'm a symbol. Exactly. That's why I'm offering you something. Rejoin. Rank of Major. Special Command. You'll protect not just Santo Isidro but 20 more towns in the region. Mac stays silent. He looks out the window. He sees Onesimo training rifle shooting. He sees Fabio welding new barriers. He sees Mrs. Jacinta Martinez bringing food to the soldiers. Colonel, I appreciate the offer, but I'm 68 years old. My body can't handle missions like before. I don't need you to go on missions. I need your brain, your experience. You train, you plan, you coordinate. Others execute. Mac considers. For 22 years he lived hidden. For 22 years he tried to forget who he was. But the past returned. And now he has a choice. Run again or accept who he is. I accept with one condition. What? Santo Isidro stays under my direct protection. You assign a permanent platoon. I live here. I train from here. But you don't take me to the city. Done. They sign documents. Mac returns to the army after 22 years. Rank of Major. Officer's salary. But more importantly, resources. Weapons. Training. Support. Colonel Medina leaves on the 4th day. Leaves 10 soldiers. Leaves equipment. Radios. Vests. Weapons. Santo Isidro becomes an operational base. During the following 2 weeks, Mac transforms the town. Installs surveillance cameras at the 4 entrances. Builds an observation tower on the highest hill, trains 40 men instead of 20, organizes weekly simulations. But he also maintains his routine. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday he hauls water. He fixed the water truck. The bullet holes remained as scars. Every time people see those marks, they remember what Mac did. One November afternoon, Mac distributes water at Mrs. Jacinta Martinez's house. She serves him coffee as always. Mr. Mac, can I ask you something? Of course, Mrs. Jacinta. Did you kill a lot of people when you were a soldier? Mac drinks his coffee slowly. The question is direct. Mrs. Jacinta has always been direct. 89 people, all authorized missions, all narco-traffickers. And how do you live with that? I don't live with it well. I remember all of them, every night. That's why I came here. I thought hauling water could wash away some of the blood. And did it? For 22 years it helped. But now everything's come back. Mrs. Jacinta puts her hand over Mac's. You saved our children. Saved our town. What you did before doesn't matter. What matters is what you do now. That night Mac can't sleep. Mrs. Jacinta's words echo. He goes out to walk. The streets of Santo Isidro are quiet, the watchers at their posts, everything in order. He reaches the church, the door is open. He enters. Father Macario is kneeling praying, a 70-year-old man. He's been the parish priest of Santo Isidro for 35 years. Major warrior, he says without turning. I knew you'd come. How? Men with your past always seek the church sooner or later. Mac sits on a pew. I haven't come to church in 22 years, only to Sunday Mass, never to confess. Why now? Because everything I buried is coming out, and I don't know if I can carry it again. Father Macario sits beside him. Tell me. Mac tells everything. The 89 missions, the faces he remembers, the pleas he heard, the families he destroyed following orders, the guilt he carries, the 22 years trying to redeem himself. The priest listens without interrupting. When Mac finishes, they sit in long silence. Do you seek absolution? The priest asks. I don't know what I seek. Son, absolution doesn't erase what was done. It only allows you to move forward. You killed following orders in a war against drug trafficking. That doesn't make you a murderer. It makes you a soldier. But the people I killed had families, and the people they killed also did. The towns they terrorized too. You prevented greater violence with necessary violence. You're not a saint, but you're also not a demon. Mac feels something breaking inside. He cries for the first time in decades. He cries for Guadalupe, for the 89, for 22 years of loneliness, for everything. Father Macario puts his hand on Mac's shoulder. God placed you here for a reason. For 22 years you served this town with humility. Now you serve it with strength. Both are holy. 2 more weeks pass. Santo Isidro is quiet. Too quiet. Mac knows the cartel is planning something. They don't attack because they know there are soldiers. But they wait. They calculate. On December 3rd, Heriberto receives an anonymous call. Distorted voice, clear message. Tell Lightning his days are numbered. He can't protect the town forever. Heriberto reports to Mac. Mac gathers his team. Onesimo, Eliezer, the soldiers, Heriberto. They're gonna attack soon, but not here. They're gonna attack something that forces us to leave. What? Asks Onesimo. Mac thinks. The cartel knows tactics. They won't attack a strong position. They'll attack a weak point. The spring, they're gonna poison or destroy Santa Clara Springs. Everyone immediately understands. Without water, Santo Isidro dies. People would have to leave. The town would empty. We need to protect the spring, says Eliezer. Mac nods. I'm sending 3 soldiers permanently. But it's not enough. We also need support from neighboring towns. If we fall, they're next. Mac travels to 3 neighboring towns, San Miguel Refuge, Santa Ana de las Flores, San Vicente Alto. He explains the situation, offers training, shows that resistance is possible. All 3 towns accept. 30 more men join. Mac trains them, creates a communication network. 4 towns connected. If one falls, the others respond. On December 15th it happens. 6 soldiers attack Santa Clara Springs. They kill 2 of the 3 military guards. The 3rd escapes wounded. Calls on the radio. The soldiers place explosives. They blow up the main source of the spring. The water diverts. It no longer flows to the collection tanks. Mac receives the news. His worst fear is confirmed. Without the spring, Santo Isidro has water for 5 days maximum. He gathers the town that night. 800 people in the plaza. Children, elderly, everyone. The Sinaloa cartel destroyed our spring. We have water for 5 days, then it runs out. You can leave now, nobody will judge, or you can stay. We fight together, we find a solution together. Mr. Rutilio Vega stands up, leaning on his cane. I stay. This is my town. I was born here. I'll die here. One by one, the families stand up. I stay. Me too. Me too. Of 800 people, 750 choose to stay. Mac feels the weight of responsibility. 750 lives depend on him. He needs a solution, he needs water. That night he studies maps. There's another spring 25 miles away. Smaller. Harder to access, but functional. The problem is the route. It crosses cartel-controlled territory. Going for water means combat. Means casualties. Onesimo enters the office. Major, there's someone who wants to see you. Who? A man. Says he has information about the cartel. The man waits at the town hall. He's 40 years old. face marked by scars, trembling hands. His name is Alberto. He was a cartel soldier until 3 days ago. "Why are you coming?" Mac asks. "Because they killed my brother. The Scorpion executed him for letting the old waterman escape. My brother was the nervous soldier you wounded on the highway." Mac remembers. The young man, probably first job. He wounded him in the leg. Didn't kill him. "I'm sorry." "Don't be. You did the right thing. My brother chose wrong. But he didn't deserve to die for it. The Scorpion killed him to make an example. Now I want revenge." "Revenge doesn't bring peace. I'm not looking for peace, I'm looking for justice, and I want to help you destroy the cartel cell operating in this region." "What do you know?" "Everything. Locations, names, routes, how many there are, where they hide, how they plan to attack Santo Isidro." Mac studies Alberto. Could be a trap, could be a spy, or could be a broken man seeking redemption. "If you lie, you die." "I'm not lying. I have proof. Photos, messages, everything." Alberto takes out a cell phone, shows conversations, maps, photos of stash houses, everything real, everything verifiable. Mac calls Colonel Medina, sends the information. The colonel verifies with military intelligence. 2 hours later, he confirms. "Everything's real. This man just handed over the complete cartel cell in West Texas." Mac looks at Alberto. "Why risk everything?" "Because my brother was 22 years old. He joined the cartel because he had no work. Because poverty forced him. He died for a stupid mistake. I want his death to mean something." During the next 3 days, Mac plans an operation with Colonel Medina, not just to recover the spring, to dismantle the entire cartel structure in the region. The operation involves 80 soldiers, the 40 trained men from the 4 towns, coordination with state troopers. It's the largest operation in Texas in 5 years. On the night of December 18th, the forces mobilize. Mac leads from Santo Isidro, coordinating by radio. He can no longer go to the front. His 68 years don't allow it, but his mind remains the most effective weapon. The attack is simultaneous. 6 locations, 40 soldiers captured, 3 killed in shootout, 0 military casualties. They recover the spring. They capture the Scorpion hiding at a ranch near San Antonio. The operation takes 4 hours. When it ends, Colonel Medina calls Mac. "We did it. The cell is dismantled. The cartel lost its structure in the entire region." Mac feels relief. But he also knows this doesn't end. The cartel will rebuild. They always rebuild. "How much time do we have?" 6 months, maybe a year. But you gave these towns an advantage. Time to organize. For other towns to see that resistance works. The next day, Army engineers arrive at Santa Clara Springs. They assess the damage. The explosion destroyed the main source, but there are 2 intact secondary sources. With work, they can redirect the flow. It takes a week, but they succeed. The water flows again. Mac fills his water truck, returns to Santo Isidro. People come out to the streets, applaud, cry. The water's back. Mrs. Jacinta Martinez hugs Mac. "You saved the town again. It wasn't just me, it was everyone. But you taught us to fight. I taught you to defend yourselves. There's a difference." That night there's a celebration in the plaza. Music, food, dancing. Santo Isidro celebrates. Mac watches from a distance. He sees children playing, families eating together. Mr. Rutilio Vega dancing with Mrs. Remedios. Father Macario approaches. "Aren't you going to celebrate?" "I'm not good at parties." "You saved 750 lives. You deserve to celebrate." "I just did my job." The priest smiles. "For 22 years your job was hauling water. Now your job is protecting. Both are sacred." Mac thinks about the priest's words. For 22 years he carried guilt for the 89 people he eliminated. But now he saved 750. The 89 don't disappear. But the 750 weigh more. 3 months later, in March 2024, Colonel Medina visits Santo Isidro. He brings news. "The model you created here worked. 15 other towns in Texas are replicating it. Civilian training, community surveillance, military coordination. Extortions dropped 60% in the region. Mac listens from his office. It continues being an operational base. He continues training. He continues coordinating. There's more. The Army wants to expand the program. 50 towns in 5 states. We need you to lead from here. Rank of Lieutenant Colonel. I accept if I can keep hauling water. The colonel laughs. You're the only lieutenant colonel who drives a water truck. Water is important. People can't fight if they're thirsty. In June 2024, Mac turns 69. The town organizes a surprise party. 800 people, all of Santo Isidro and people from neighboring towns. They give him a plaque of recognition. To Mr. Mac Flowers, Major Able Warrior, Lightning, the man who gave us water, the man who gave us hope. Mac reads the plaque. He feels tears. He doesn't hide them. He hugs Mrs. Jacinta Martinez, Mr. Rutilio Vega, Teacher Esperanza, everyone. Thank you for giving me a home for 22 years. Thank you for accepting me when you learned the truth. Thank you for fighting with me. Mr. Rutilio Vega strikes the ground with his cane. You are Santo Isidro. You'll always be Santo Isidro. That night, Mac walks alone to the cemetery. He visits the grave he made for Guadalupe even though her body is buried in Houston. It's a symbolic grave, a place where he talks to her. He kneels, places fresh flowers. Guadalupe, I found peace. Not the peace I was looking for, not forgetting, not complete absolution, but I found purpose. For 22 years I carried the 89 lives I took. Now I carry the 750 I saved. It's a different weight, a weight I can bear. The wind blows gently. Mac closes his eyes. He feels Guadalupe's presence. It's not real, he knows, but it comforts him. 5 years later, in 2029, Mac is 74 years old. He continues hauling water. He continues training. His body is weaker. He needs a real walking cane now. But his mind remains sharp. The community defense program expanded to 200 towns. Extortions dropped 75% in rural areas of 5 states. The model is studied in military academies. Onesimo, now 62 years old, manages daily training. Eliezer coordinates surveillance. The young people who were children in 2023 are now part of the defense team. One October morning, Mac fills his water truck. The same ritual as always. But when climbing into the cab, he feels sharp pain in his chest. He falls. Onesimo finds him. They take him to the hospital in San Antonio. Heart attack. The doctors say he'll survive but can't continue working physically. From his hospital bed, Mac calls Colonel Medina. Colonel, I need to retire for real this time. You're 74 years old. You should have retired a long time ago. I need to ask a favor. Anything. Take care of Santo Isidro, even if I'm not there. Santo Isidro will be fine. You prepared them. Onesimo is a good leader. The town is strong. Mac returns to Santo Isidro 2 weeks later. He walks slowly. Mr. Rutilio Vega died 2 years ago. Mrs. Jacinta Martinez is 80. Teacher Esperanza retired. But Santo Isidro continues. Children play in safe streets. Families work without fear. Water flows. One afternoon, Mac sits in the plaza. Children approach, the new generation. They didn't live through the 2023 attack. They only heard stories. Mr. Mac, is it true you fought 100 soldiers alone? Mac laughs. It wasn't 100. It was 4. And I didn't fight alone. The whole town fought. But you were a famous soldier. I was a soldier, not famous. I just did my duty. The children run off playing. Mac watches them play. This is the real victory. Children who can play without fear. In 2031, at 76 years old, Mac Flowers dies in his sleep at his house in Santo Isidro. Peaceful death. No pain. Surrounded by photographs of Guadalupe and the people of the town, his funeral gathers 3,000 people. People from 50 towns he helped defend, soldiers he trained, families he saved. Colonel Medina, now general, gives the eulogy. Major able warrior known as Lightning, eliminated 89 targets in 16 years of service. But in his last 29 years, he saved thousands of lives, not with violence, with water, with training, with hope. He was a better man in peace than in war. They bury Mac next to Guadalupe's symbolic grave. The headstone says, Mac Flowers, able warrior, 1955-2031, waterman, soldier, protector. He gave water, he gave life. 2 years after the funeral, the Texas state government inaugurates a monument in Santo Isidro. Bronze statue, an old man with a cane beside a water truck. The plaque explains the story. Tourists visit, students learn. The community defense model that Mac created continues functioning in 500 towns. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, a new waterman brings water to Santo Isidro. He uses the same water truck. The bullet holes remain, a permanent reminder, because Mac Flowers demonstrated that it's never too late to change, that 22 years hauling water can weigh more than 89 missions of death, that a united town can defeat fear, and that sometimes redemption doesn't come from erasing the past, but from building a better future. His legacy isn't in the 89 he eliminated. It's in the thousands of families who can live in peace, in the children who grow up without fear, in the water that continues flowing. And that lesson, engraved in bronze in Santo Isidro's plaza, will live forever.